10 gods and goddesses you probably haven't heard of. We know about gods like Zeus, Thor, and Aphrodite, but what are some of the ones that have almost been forgotten by history? Let's take a look at some of the gods and goddesses you might not have heard of. Cernunnos. From Celtic legends, this god is known as the Horned One and the Lord of the Wild Things. He is the male aspect of nature, associated with animals, good fortune, abundance, material wealth, virility, and the underworld. The legends say that this deity can be found at the sacred center, in the grove of all the worlds, sitting with legs crossed beneath the ancient oak, entranced while he connects the worlds of the earth, sea, and sky, his limbs stretching into distant sky and starry space. He is typically depicted as a green man with antlers, accompanied by a stag, usually carrying a purse full of coins. It is said that Cernunnos is continuously born at the winter solstice, marries the moon goddess during Beltane, and dies again at the summer solstice in the endless circle of death, life, and rebirth. Nicneven. From Scotland, this deity is the crone goddess of Samhain, the pagan holiday when the veil is thin and those who have passed from this world are honored. The legends say she has powers over protection, ghosts, divination, peace and winter, and rules over the realm of the fae, magic, and witchcraft. The stories tell that she is the queen of the fairies. Her name means daughter of the divine. In other tales, she is the queen of winter. Other stories call her the queen of spirits, strange creatures, and supernatural entities. She often appears as a female spirit cloaked on a long gray mantle, carrying a white wand, which has the ability to freeze anything it touches. Other magical powers include spinning and weaving magical garments. And on the nights of the Samhain and the Yule, she rises from the underworld and opens the gate to the other world so that the spirits of the dead may cross to our world and then back again. Nicneven is the goddess of witches, magic, the crossroads, and the dark moon. Many invoke her presence to travel between the worlds or for safe passage at night. Tyr. From Armenian mythology, he is the god of literature, science, art, and is the great interpreter of dreams. His biggest temple is called the place where dreams are explained. Here, his priests interpret dreams and divine for fortunes, as well as serve as a library and academy. Tyr acted as a scribe to the gods. When a soul was born, he would write their name in the book of life, and on their forehead, he would imprint the newborn's fate, including its predetermined lifespan, and later upon passing from this world, he will read them their final judgment. This fortune teller of divinity acts as a guide of souls, those yet to be born and those who seek his passage into the underworld. His festival was called the Day of Knowledge. People would build great bonfires called the Ormuzd fires, and dancing and singing in his honor would go from dusk until dawn. Isis. This feared female deity is a goddess from the polytheistic pantheon of Egypt. This ancient goddess was worshipped as the ideal mother and wife, as well as the patroness of nature and magic. Isis was a friend to the slaves, the sinners, the artisans, and the downtrodden. Her name, when translated, means throne. She was the personification of the pharaoh's power. The pharaoh was often depicted as her child, who sat on the throne she provided. Isis was the first daughter of Geb, the god of earth, and Nut, the goddess of the sky. This prominent deity is also known as the protector of the dead and goddess of children. Isis was one of the most important deities, receiving daily offerings, whose priests and priestesses had a reputation for their wisdom, dream interpretation, and powers of healing, all of which they learned from this powerful goddess of magic. Odin. From Norse legends, he is called the Allfather, the first and most powerful god of Astrid. He is associated with sorcery, healing, death, royalty, the gallows, knowledge, battle, poetry, frenzy, victory, the hunt, war, and the runic alphabet. In the Age of Vikings, he was often depicted as a muscular older man with one eye. The other he gave in exchange for wisdom. He also had a long beard, wore a cloak and broad hat, or sometimes a winged crown, wielding a spear named Gungnir. His animal companions are wolves and ravens, though he usually rides a flying eight-legged steed whose teeth are inscribed with runes across the sky and into the underworld. Odin is a shapeshifter who would often disguise himself as an old man or animal. He is the leader of the Wild Hunt, a ghostly procession of the dead through the winter sky. He is said to have given mankind the gifts of poetry and the ability to read sacred runes. Odin oversees Valhalla, where the souls of those who fall valiantly in battle find their way. This ancient god of Scandinavia is one of the earliest deities of magic, spells, and charms. Hecate. From Greek mythology, Hecate is the goddess of magic, witchcraft, necromancy, sorcery, ghosts, knowledge of herbs and poisonous plants, and the crossroads. This ancient goddess began life as the only child to the titans Perses and Asteria, from whom she received her powers over Earth and the realms beyond. As the guardian goddess of the crossroads, this is the only deity who can transcend all the realms, the netherworld, the mortal plane, earth, sea, sky, and all the places in between. In many of her depictions, Hecate will have 3 heads or 3 bodies intertwined into one, which stands for the 3 stages of life: the maiden, childhood, the mother, adulthood, and the crone, old age, as well as the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Some legends say this goddess lived in the underworld and sometimes in a cave while on the earthly plane. Athenian households often built small shrines for this protective goddess, which they would place at the entrance and exits of their homes to protect them against unwanted spirits. Thoth. This Egyptian deity was the god of magic, knowledge, the moon, measurement, wisdom, the alphabet, records, thought, intelligence, meditation, the mind, logic, reason, reading, hieroglyphics, secrets, scribes, and writing. Thoth is also heavily associated with divination. Aleister Crowley even devised a set of tarot cards with his own creation called the Thoth Deck. In artwork, this god of the Egyptian pantheon was most commonly depicted as a muscular man with the head of a baboon. Thoth played many vital roles to the Egyptian people, such as maintaining the universe, the arbitration of godly disputes, the arts of magic, the system of writing, the development of science, and the judgment of the dead. He was known for his calculation concerning the heavens, the stars, and the earth. Some called this deity the reckoner of times and seasons, the one who measured out the heavens and planned the earth, he who balances, the god of equilibrium, the master of balance, the lord of the divine body, the scribe of the company of the gods, the author of every work and every branch of knowledge, both human and divine, and he who understands all that is hidden under the heavenly vault. Oya. From Africa, this deity is the dark mother goddess of storms and destruction. She is greatly associated with rivers, especially the Amazon, whose source she is said to be. Oya is the wind. She is a gentle breeze or a vicious storm. She is a moderate sprinkle of rain or a violent storm of lightning and thunder. She is the duality of nature. Oya is the primeval mother of chaos, the wild woman, and the force of change. She tears away old structures and replaces them with something new. She is death and rebirth all at once. Oya is the goddess of revolution, of upheaval, and sudden change. She is the fierce Amazon warrior and protectress of women. She is raw and unbridled, the untamed destructive power of Mother Nature, a free spirit, a deity unbound by convention and tradition, and a goddess of the hunt. She is the guardian of the unborn. She symbolizes the first and last breath of life, and is commonly depicted as a beautiful, strong black woman dressed in burgundy, red, and purple, the colors of life and wisdom. Oya is the dark goddess of magic and otherworldly wisdom. She is the carrier of the container of fire, the queen of death, the mother of 9, the great mother of the elders of the night, and she who turns and changes. She is also hidden in Haitian voodoo as one of the Orisha spirits. Sekhmet. This Egyptian goddess's name comes from the word Sekhem, which roughly translates to the powerful one, the power of the night, one before whom evil trembles, mistress of dread, lady of slaughter, and she who mauls. She was honored as a warrior deity, as well as a goddess of healing, fire, war, fertility, and the sun. Sekhmet is depicted with the body of a beautiful woman, but with the head of a fearsome lioness. She is typically dressed in red, the color of blood. To her Egyptian followers, she was known as the fiercest huntress of all the gods. Her temper was especially legendary. Sekhmet was not a goddess to be trifled with. In fact, in order to placate this lioness goddess's unbridled temper, her priestesses performed a ritual before a different statue of Sekhmet every single day of the year. She was hailed as the great protector of the pharaohs and often led the charge when the Egyptians went into battle, calling down storms and blasting forth fantastic spells of fire and terror. She was the patron goddess of the physicians and healers. Nearly all of her priests and priestesses were highly skilled in the magical arts of healing, averting plagues, and curing diseases. She was often called the Lady of Terror, as well as the Lady of Life. Her name can be found in several spells inside the Book of the Dead. This creative, destructive force of life and death was the protector of duality and balance. Before we get to number 1, we have a question to ask you guys. What was your favorite legend from mythology? Let us know all your favorite fantasy stories in the comments below. Perchta. This goddess of magic hails from Alpine paganism from the Upper German region of the Alps. Her name, when translated, means the Bright One. This Germanic goddess has two forms with which she appears to mortals. Some say she is a beautiful young maiden and white as snow, while others insist she is elderly, haggard, and cloaked in black. In some stories, Perchta was one large foot, sometimes called a goose or swan foot. This strange out-of-place foot, many believed, symbolized her being a higher power who contained the ability to shapeshift into animal forms. In Austria, this deity is honored with wooden animal masks made for her festival called Perchten. Beautiful masks encourage financial windfalls, and ugly masks drive away evil spirits. In other legends, Perchta is portrayed as a rewarder of the generous and the punisher of evil, the two faces of the goddess. In one tale, Perchta was one of the leaders of the Wild Hunt. The Wild Hunt was comprised of elves, fairies, and demons who did evil deeds. Seeing this hunt of supernatural creatures bode a terrible omen and often spelled grave misfortune. On the 12th night of Christmas, during the Feast of Epiphany, Perchta will leave silver for good children, whereas naughty children would wake to find their organs replaced with pebbles and straw.